Hey, VA fam, the Labor Day event from Dell Technologies is here, and it's time to take productivity to another level. End the summer strong by upgrading your growing business to the latest tech. This new season begins with up to 48% off top performance laptops like Vostro, taking performance to the next level with 12th gen Intel Core processors. You'll also save big on monitors, docks, mice, and more must-have accessories. Plus, get free shipping on everything. It's the perfect time to get ahead with powerful tech designed to stay motivated throughout the year and encourage collaboration and innovation among your team. Now at special prices for a limited time only. Summer might be gone, but it's just the beginning. What's next for you? Upgrade today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL to save up to 48% on our latest technology.
It's time for the BAQA. The BAQA. What you say? The BAQA with Mandi. The BAQA with Tiffany. The BAQA. It's Brown Ambition. Question and answers. You have questions. We have some answers, although we're not your attorney, your financial advisor, your mom, but we are your very savvy, fly, cute, favorite financial besties, okay? So, but we want you to take what we say with a grain of salt and certainly lean into the people that you pay, honey, okay? So we've got some questions today. Mandra, who have you picked from the mailbag?
Ooh, career questions. I live for these. So many great questions. As a reminder, you guys can hit us up with your career and your finance questions or business questions at Brown Ambition Podcast on IG. You can slide into our DMs. You can also email us. We are brownambitionpodcast@gmail.com. We have some incredible questions today, and you guys have really taken our challenge of coming up with code names to the next level. So shout out to everyone. The better your code name is, the more likely your question will be answered on the show. Okay. Favoritism, we do practice it. Okay. But get your salt shakers ready, y'all, because as Tiffany said, we take everything we say with a little tiny grain of salt. But let's start with don't want to be shady, just want to be paid. Literally, that's the name that we are going with. Don't want to be, let's just call her Shady. Shady says, hi, Mandi and Tiffany. I have worked for a company for 6 years now, and I have learned how to be a career counselor. I had relevant experience when I came into the job, but I honed 90% of my skills through doing this job. Like most women of color, I am not making the money I am worth, so I have advocated for raises over the years and am making much more than when I started. Okay. I'm thinking about starting a side business, coaching young people in their careers, using the skills I've learned through this job to generate an additional stream of income to pay off my considerable debt, create an emergency fund, and be able to travel. I would be serving a different demographic and not poaching clients from the company. I'd be using resources that I've used in my job, but I created most of the resources we use anyway. Is it problematic to use the skills this job taught me to make additional money doing the same thing? Do I need to loop in my boss at all, or just do my thing? Sincerely, don't want to be shady, just want to be paid. Oh, this is juicy.
It is juicy. I'm sitting back like, Mandi, what you say, girl? I'm going to say from like a boss's perspective, and then I want you to say from like, what can she actually do here?
Okay, from a boss's perspective, you are shady. Girl. This is very not cool. I hate to break it to you. Yeah. So I know that you say that you have created these resources yourself at work. So you feel like you're entitled to use them in your business. But this is why when I talk about, especially for 9-to-5 workers who are wanting to like create their own consultant business, for example, and you yourself want to do all your own service-based business. One of my number one tips is to immediately start like keeping that Chinese wall, like keeping a barrier in between your work product at work and your business product on the side. And you are immediately blurring that lines when you take something that you've produced at your office through on their payroll, at using their systems, using their printer, whatever, and passing it off as if you own it. That's the sad thing about working 9-to-5. We love the 9-to-5 life for the benefits, for the healthcare, for the 401k, for that job, quote unquote, stability. But why we don't love it is that everything you do while you're on their payroll is really their product. They own it, not you, which may not be exactly what you want to hear, but that's the truth. Now, that being said, you are your own person, and there is potential that you could launch your own independent venture outside of your 9 to 5. But I think you're going to, the more unique your venture is, and the more you can say how different it is, the more likely it's going to be to not cause any issues. I think that, like, based on what you're saying, it seems really close to what you're doing now. Very close to what you're doing now. And I don't think it would be wise of you to tell your manager that you're doing this, because I do think that they're going to have an issue with it. That being said, if you want to, yeah, Tiff wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it under your own name. I do think that maybe there's an opportunity for you to, like, test out creating your own content, creating your own thing, and trying to post it maybe under a pseudonym, just to see if you're getting any traction, like have that minimum viable product kind of moment where you're trying to see if people are responding to it. You could do some free workshops, for example, like where you're not getting paid, but you are, like, engaging with that audience and trying to, like, test out your message and see if it's good. There's a way that you could also do this where you are, like, representing your company, but you're doing it like what you're speaking on panels, like you're getting tapped to go to conferences, you're getting tapped to speak at maybe college campuses around the country, and you're doing it representing your company. That's very different. If you wanted to do that on your own, I think you would have some challenges, and they may not be too happy about it. So,
and you might get sued, because I know about me and my unicorn squad, I have a non-compete in our contract. Like, sis, you're not going to work for me as a budgetista and then also create a financial education thing on the side with whose resources? Not mine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so now here's the thing. So many people who work for me have side businesses that I then promote. Like, like we put, like, oh, you, like, for example, I'm not saying, like, for example, Logan on my team is my content manager. And Logan is an amazing copywriter and content creator. And so I promoted Logan to, like on our social media channels to do content stuff, just in general. And people have hired her, no problem. But what Logan couldn't do, like, because that's different. It's almost like I'm a teacher and I tutor on the side, no problem. But I can't open a competing school. You know what I mean? And so, like, Logan doing content for somebody else, no problem. It can't be a financial company that does what we do, but Logan actually opening up her own financial education firm, problem. Because it's like now you can do that and not work here, like you couldn't work here and do that. Even, like, I had a woman on our team. She's awesome. I just saw that. Jadalise, I forget the name of Jadalise's Insta. She helps people create courses. So when she was working with us, she really helped to build out, like, our course platform for Literature Academy. And then she helped other people build out their course platforms. And I think she was doing it simultaneously, no problem. But she couldn't open her own online school called Almost Literature Academy or whatever. You see what I mean? Like, her own financial online school. Not that she couldn't open her online school, but that's the issue, is that you can't, and I've had people who, try to kind of do that and it's not worked, because I think people don't understand. This is what, when I'm going to, like, get my Kanye on, but Sauce sold separately. Sis, I know you here.
What's that?
And you're like, Al, I helped build the budget. I helped build this. I could do the same thing over here. Or I'm going to take all of this to the next person who's in competition with Tiffany, and we're going to take Tiffany down. I've had a couple people do that. And then 1 year, 2 year, 5 years pass, and no new Tiffany has been built, because Sauce sold separately. Wonderful. That although you bring a lot to the table, ultimately, I'm the table. And so you want to be mindful, because you don't want to be a black girl.
Yes.
Hey.
How do you go from?
People, I'm like,
am I an alien superstar in our first episode?
You thought you was gonna take? Because but I had to learn that lesson for myself. But I just say all that to say, honestly, then be mindful, because you don't want to be blackballed in the industry. Industries are smaller than you think. You don't want to be blackballed, and quite honestly, you will be found out, because especially if you start to do well, and you don't want to be fired. And now if you want to leave the job and build something new, that's one thing. But to build something that kind of competes, even though it's like, oh, it's different clients, here's the thing, if you cannot tell your boss, then you probably shouldn't be doing it unless you're ready to lose your job and you're like, this thing is making me enough money. So I just would be mindful of that. And that's that on that, sis. Be mindful. Don't be shady. Just want to be paid. Like, just be mindful. Take your skill sets and ask yourself how you can flip it where it's not at all like what you're doing. There's other things that you can do with that skill set. Like I went from teaching preschool to teaching financial education. So, but still at the end of the day, I'm still a teacher. So you could cherry pick skill sets and see and ask yourself, how can I do this in a totally different way that if my boss did find out or whatever, no biggie. No school is mad that a teacher tutors on the side.
Yeah, and it's special tutoring that they wouldn't be able to offer, like one-on-one individual tutoring. You just can't do that. You can't single out a student and then pour all your energy and attention into them. Without knowing, I don't really know much about the day-to-day job tasks that you have, but maybe there's a case to be made for, like, you don't get to do one-on-ones. But if you're literally doing one-on-one coaching through this career counseling service that you're a part of, and you want to go do it on your own, under your own moniker, like on the side, that they're going to have an issue with that. You're just going to have to like think about, how is this different? How different are the audiences? What is my unique, value, my unique business proposition? And then like, how do you differentiate that? But that sounds challenging, and double dipping is not cool.
But keep us updated.
Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, if you want to give us more deets, we don't got to share it all on the show, but I'm curious. Like, I was not if I had been a podcaster and then launched Brown Ambition podcast, like that would have been problematic. Like it was always, I was working 9 to 5 for a long time with this show, but it was never interfering. It was never similar to what I was doing, through my 9 to 5. So they were cool with it.
Hey, BA fam. Support for Brown Ambition comes from our friends at Avast. Avast is a global leader in cyber protection and has been trusted for more than 30 years. My age, psych. Avast's new all-in-one solution, Avast One, helps you take control of your safety and privacy online through a range of features. Avast offers a free version and includes all the essential features such as free antivirus, free VPN, and free firewall protection, and a premium version with even more. Avast empowers you with digital safety and privacy no matter who you are, where you are, or how you connect. I like the fact that Avast has a PC speed up, which optimizes the background activity of your apps in order to speed up your PC. Confidently take control of your online world with Avast One. It helps you stay safe from viruses, phishing attacks, ransomware, hacking attempts, and other cyber crimes. Learn more about Avast One at avast.com. Hey, BA fam. Now a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. So a few years ago, I was really struggling in business. I mean, I'd been struggling for like a couple of years. I was so overwhelmed, and I knew I needed help. And so it took me forever to figure out how to find a therapist, where to look, who to ask for. And so that's why I love that we are sponsored by BetterHelp, right? With the good sometimes comes really just the overwhelm. So with growth and with change and all the things that have been happening in business and in life, I really leaned into therapy, and it's made all the difference. If you're thinking about getting therapy, try BetterHelp. It's a great option. It's convenient, accessible, affordable, and entirely online. You're going to get matched with a therapist after filling out a brief survey, and you can switch therapists at any time. And our Brown Ambition listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/brownambition. That's betterhelp.com/brownambition. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/brownambition.
All right, y'all, we are back. Tiff, you want to read this one from listener Theo?
Sure.
Using the pseudonym, Theo. I love it.
Theo says, "Hi, Mandi and Tiffany. Please, okay, Theo, we know." He said, username Theo. Thanks, Theo. Thank you for the weekly career and financial advice you render through your platform. While I do not represent your core audience, I benefit greatly from your podcast, and I use it to inform and educate others in my immediate circle. Love it, Theo. I just listened to this week's episode, CNN's Diversifying, Negotiate Your Way to Success. Having recently received a new job offer, I decided to write to the podcast. We love it. I am a 28-year-old Black man working in the commercial construction industry as a cost estimator. Oh, my sister used to do this. Shout out to you, Carol. I earned both my BS Construction Management and Masters of Business and Administration degrees from NC at A&T State University. We stand a smart Black king. The commercial construction industry is a great field, and it has yielded a rewarding career for me over the past 7 years. However, it has been difficult to really tap into my earning potential and leveraging my MBA until recently. I received a job offer for the exact role at another company that will increase my annual salary by 22%. But I would be leaving a company that I recently transitioned to in February of this year. For context purposes, my current role was a result of me leaving a toxic and unhealthy work environment, so I compromised on company-provided benefits and pay. Okay, but I'm glad you took care of yourself. The most recent job offer was presented to me on 8/10/2022, and I had to deliver a decision by 8/12/2022. During the 48 hours I was given, I thoroughly reviewed the offer and the accompanying employee benefits package. I also shared the offer with a trusted colleague for any additional input or feedback in regards to the offer being made. I asked all the questions that needed to be addressed, and I ultimately decided to accept the offer. If my resignation is not received well by my current employer, should I feel any guilt, or would this decision to transition after 6 months reflect poorly on me? I'm waiting until my 6-month probationary period ends before starting my new role, so I'm able to keep my $5K sign-on bonus. So there is no sign-on bonus being offered by my new employer. Thank you. Theo, this is so thorough. Theo, we see
So
why you
thorough.
do this, because I know exactly the job, because my sister used to do this. We see why you are, because the job that you do, you have to be so thorough. So we see how you're a cost estimator, counting those coins and pennies, okay?
Yeah.
So what you say, Mandra? This is such a great letter.
I picture him with like a little pencil behind his ear when he's writing this.
Yes, a hard hat, a pencil, and glasses. Theo, you wear
I
glasses?
love it. Theo, you are our core audience. Just
Yes.
like a beautiful Black king, like Tiffany said,
Yes.
trying to collect their coins. So first of all, congratulations on negotiating this new offer and getting a 22% raise.
Yes.
I understand the core question is like, I just came here 6 months ago and now I'm about to leave, and I'm going to do it like the day after my 6-month probationary period ends, so I can keep that $5,000. Listen. Often in your career, when you make choices that are to your own benefit, other people will be inconvenienced. Will they be annoyed at you for leaving just 6 months in, the day after your probationary period ends, with their $5,000 in your pocket? Will they be annoyed? Yep. That being said, I think that if you are genuinely determined to leave, like, you have to ask yourself this: if they try to counter this other offer, and if they say match it, for example, if they say, hey, we'll give you 22% more like you wanted, and try to keep you to stay, like, what's your answer going to be? Do you want to leave? Are you done and want to move on? Or would you be willing to stay? Because I think you need to go into that conversation knowing if there's an opportunity, so you can set their expectations. So when you approach that conversation, and let's say that you are done, like you really want to take this new job, there's nothing that they could say to sway you, then it's all about being super compassionate and super honest about the reasons why you're leaving, and kind of trying to explain to them, hey, I've really enjoyed working at this company. This is when I get into my script mode, Tiff. They're always having their scripts. I've really enjoyed, my time at this company. However, I have had an offer from another firm, and in addition to offering a more generous compensation package that would give me a 22% raise, I have to be honest, this other opportunity, and then tell them what it is about this other opportunity that has attracted you. You don't have to like go on and on and on about it, but like help them understand why you would be leaving after 6 months. And as long as you're being honest and the story makes sense and they can kind of compute it, then and if you genuinely want to leave, there's not much they can't force you to stay. So I think if you just explain it in that way, thoughtfully and compassionately, that they should understand. It may reflect a little bit poorly on you that you were, only stuck around for those 6 months, but you can't really control at the end of the day how they feel about you leaving. You can only kind of make peace with, I gave them 6 months of my hardest effort, my best work, and I did what I came here to do, and I'm choosing a new opportunity for me that will benefit me professionally. And that's the name of the game. So just make your peace with it and move on, and don't do it in such a way that, like, yeah, you would burn too many bridges on the way out.
No, I love that. And that's, I would say, as an employer, if someone who came to me, it depends how I feel about it. I'm not going to lie. If they were a so-so employee, I'd be like, well, we wish you well, girl, But if they were like a rock star employee, absolutely, I would counter. And I'd be like, oh, man, like, what can we do? And even if they decided not to stay, I would relish in the feedback, because what can I do to create a better environment where rock star employees want to stay? Because we've created an environment where they thrive, they're paid well, they feel respected or whatever, So, but ultimately, I mean, it's business. Because, I mean, I had to let go of a lot of people earlier this year. And it was really hard. But I also had to remind myself, I'm running a business that I'm wanting to run a business with compassion, with care, with all of those things. But if the business goes down, everybody's out of a job, And so believe me, your job thinks about it like that and thinks about you like that, even if it's a great working environment, that ultimately they're in business. And so I try to remember that on my end, that I'm in business, but then also employees get to also say, this is a business. You know what I mean? Like, I don't owe somebody my whole life. Like, if I am allowed to choose what's best for me, because rest assured, the business is going to choose what's best for the business. And so,
Yeah, I went back and read his question again. And here's what I'll say. Remember when I said, like, you have to kind of know going into that conversation what you want out of it, and if you're willing to walk away no matter what they say? He said specifically, I've received a job offer for the exact role at another company that will increase my salary by 22%. And I think in this case, if it's the exact same role, I feel like you would be open to them countering. And I think that if you walk into that conversation saying, hey, like, so it's a whole different conversation. If you would be open to them countering, then this is what I would say. I would say, and this is in my new guide, Nail the Negotiation, which you can get at mandymoney.com. I have an exact scenario like this where you walk to, you say in person or on the phone, and you say, hey, I've really enjoyed my time here. I've learned so much, but I have to be honest, I've received an offer from a competing firm, and they've offered me a 22% compensation increase for doing very similar work. I would love to stay with this firm, honestly, and I want to give you guys an opportunity to counter. So I wanted to give you a chance to, hear me out and let me know if you're able to match this offer, and then shut up and stop talking and let them fill in the silence and take that offer to HR and see what they have to say. Because they may just say, it's expensive to go out and hire someone to replace you. And they just got you in February, right? So I think you may be surprised that they may come back and counter. And I would definitely love a follow-up, Theo.
Yes.
Let us know if you've had this conversation yet. And if you have, how did it go and what happened? I feel like maybe they'll counter. And if they do, that maybe you don't have to leave. Because if it's purely financial, that's the reason for you leaving, then maybe they'll just like make you good on the money front and you can stick around. And hey, you just proved one of the best ways to get a raise is always interviewing. Amen to that. Always take those interviews.
Mandy had a little slight plug, but we need a heavy plug. Stop, girl. So Mandy has a new resource. What is it called?
It's called Nail the Negotiation, 19 scripts to help you secure the bag.
Yes. And so especially, I mean, if you're a BA listener, it's going to be like just a perfect tool for you. Even if you have a business. Mandy and I were talking offline, and she was like, oh, so I told her I was excited to go to Mandi, M-A-N-D-I, money.com to like secure my own copy. And she's like, well, it's not really for business negotiation. I said, Mandi, that like one thing I've learned in business is that a skill set is a skill set is a skill set. The reason why I am good at teaching as the budgetnista is because I was a preschool teacher. Because there's a skill set I honed about teaching, and negotiating is a skill set that I struggle with. And that although, maybe the scripts are like, about like jobs and things, no. There's a skill set there that I can glean from. This is how you negotiate. This is the tone. Here's some of the phrasing here. So I'm excited to get that Mandy's resource, because I'm just like, no, girl, even as a business owner, I struggle with sometimes illustrating my own Oprah to brands and companies who want to hire me who say they don't have the budget or whatever. And it's like, okay, I know from this resource that I can lean in and be like, oh, if this was a job opportunity, I would say this. How do I flip it a little bit for this opportunity from being hired to be a speaker or whatever? So yeah, so mandymoney.com, nail the negotiations. What is it? Nail the negotiations?
Nail the negotiation.
I
19
love it.
scripts that you can use to secure the bag. Yeah. I live for this stuff. I love helping y'all
Yes.
figure out how to phrase these conversations because, yeah, no one like prepares us for these types of situations. But I love that you're even in this situation, Theo. For y'all who are like, I don't feel like I'm being paid my worth where I'm working now, Theo's just proven one of the best ways to get that raise is by proving that someone else will hire you at a higher price point and then bringing that offer to your management now and saying like, what are y'all gonna do about that?
Theo, you illustrating your Oprah. You looking good as Oprah's bank account, right? Out here
Yes.
look at Theo, look at how you looking.
Hell
Ah,
yeah.
yes. Before we jump off, do not forget. I want you guys to go on over to Netflix. It is now live as of, I mean, we're recording it now. It's not live, but by the time you listen to this, it is live. Get Smart with Money, my Netflix documentary, not to be confused with Get Good with Money, my New York Times bestselling book. But Get Smart with Money is live. Please go and watch. And I would love, you know what? This is what I'd love. If you can tweet us at the BA Podcast or at the Budgetnista, tell me which one of the four families that were helped that you resonated most with. That you're like, oh, I'm like such and such. I struggled with that. So I would just really love to know. I'm like, I have somebody who I resonated with, like, like heavily because it was like that was how my life looked like 15 years ago financially. And so, yeah, Get Smart with Money is available on Netflix. Go ahead and watch. Sit down. It's very feel good. So you could watch it with your kids, especially if they're like high school and college, to be like, yeah, don't do that. Yeah, tweet me your feedback, but really tweet me like, who do you resonate most with? We're super, super excited. Yes, get smart with money.
We busy. We
Yes.
busy out here. Congratulations, Tiff. Thank you. And congratulations to you, Theo, for 22% raise. Either way, I think you're going to be earning more at the end of this. But send us your updates. And to all of you guys wondering, how can I get my question read by my financial besties? You can go to our Instagram page and slide into our DMs at Brown Ambition Podcast. You can also email us directly, brownambitionpodcast@gmail.com.
.com.
Until next week. Bye, y'all.
Hey, BA fam. We're on YouTube. Woohoo! Thank you so much for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel.
And while you're at it, why don't you go over to that little bell icon and just tap that for us. Show the BA fam how much you love us. And that way you'll also get notifications when new videos drop. Also, share the channel with a friend. We're always like, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. And thank y'all so much again for all the support.